If I had to start all over again as a travel photographer, the number one thing I'd do differently is What's up? Welcome back to my channel. Happy to have you here watching today, and this week I'm back home here in Ottawa, which is actually, fun fact, the capital of Canada. I've been on the road for about 2 months exploring all over Europe, like Iceland and France and the Balkans, Italy, Croatia, Greece, and a few more. And if you haven't watched those vlogs, make sure to watch them. They're super fun and entertaining. Now in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe down below. In this vlog, I'm going to share with you 6 lessons that I've learned as a full-time travel photographer. If you don't know who I am, that's perfectly cool. My name is Elliott and I am a photographer, content creator, influencer, coach, whatever you want to brand me as. And I've been traveling the world for over 5 years, exploring over 60 countries, 62 I think at the moment. And I actually post all of my photography on Instagram, so you can check out my IG right here at Life with Elliott. Now, I've had the incredible privilege and blessing to be able to do what I love for a living. I actually started back in 2018, backpacking around Asia, and now here I am 5 years later. Over the past 1,800 plus days, I've picked up a lesson or two here and there. Things that I wish I could go back to 2018 and tell younger Elliott to set him up for the success that I have today, but in a much shorter time span. And I can't do that, time travel, but what I can do is share these lessons with you so that you can achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. So let's put 6 minutes on the clock and get started. Now, I'm definitely going to go past 6 minutes. Well, we'll see. One of my favorite quotes is, "Without a goal, you can't score." Casey Neistat. Or, "If you aim at nothing, you'll hit nothing every single time." And in a similar sense, without a vision, you're going to be wandering aimlessly with no direction. How are you going to set goals if you don't know what for? That is vision. If you're watching this, you probably have some kind of vision of where you want to be. But I want to go one step further and encourage you to be extremely specific with your vision. Instead of, I want to be a travel photographer someday, be clear. I like to use the because method. So I want to fill in the blank because I want to fill in the blank. For example, I want to be a full-time travel photographer in 1 year because I want to experience freedom in what I do, or maybe I hate working in an office and I want to travel the world and enjoy what I do for a living. What you want to accomplish is the goal, and the why is your vision. Having an extremely clear vision is so important because A, you now know what you're working towards, and B, it gives you a reason or a purpose, the why. It forces you to know why you're spending your valuable time, energy, and money on something. It's going to be what motivates you to push through even during the hard times, which there is going to be. Now, I've always dismissed the concept of vision boards and manifestation. To me, it all sounded a little bit silly. But as I've grown in my business and personally, the more I began to learn to understand it. Now, manifestation, I want to be clear about what that means to me. Now, I personally don't believe in the kind of manifestation where you meditate on something and then one day suddenly it just comes to you, like law of attraction and energy stuff. But what I do believe in is manifestation where your actions and mindset are being guided by what you think. I'll give you an example. If you want to make $100,000, just thinking about $100,000 isn't going to put that money in your bank account. But what thinking about it does is it trains you to make changes to your daily habits. So, for example, instead of spending money on useless things, now you're thinking about, how can I save money? Or you might start to think of different business ideas, and you might start investing, and you might start talking to people differently and go out of your way to network with people. So if you never had the vision in the first place, you would not be thinking about this or thinking about what you need to do or how to achieve your vision. Perhaps you would have never approached certain people or put yourself in environments where opportunities may come about. So manifestation, in my opinion, is essentially putting yourself or in a position where you're thinking about something so much that it changes your mindset, which makes you more aware of the possibilities that are out there. And if you act upon these opportunities, you're one step closer to what you've envisioned. To me, that's what manifestation is. When it comes to vision boards, I actually never had one until recently. I put together images that represent to me the future that I want. For example, I want to be able to support my future kids and provide shelter, so I have an image of my dream house on there. And every time I look at this, I have a desire to work more and do whatever it takes to achieve that vision, my future. My vision board basically holds me accountable for my actions every time I look at it. So why is all of this important? Well, because 5 years ago, 2018, I wasn't very clear about where I wanted to be or who I wanted to be. So for many years, I just wandered aimlessly, having fun. And while having fun is great, here I am today, 5 years later, wishing I had spent more time to define my vision more clearly so my goals can be more focused. Being a travel photographer was a good vision back in 2018, but it lacked clarity. So I was all over the place for many years. And I don't want to make the same mistake today and suffer 5 years down the line. Now, all of this came about when I was studying successful people. It became clear to me that successful people create clear visions for their goals and they take action towards achieving that vision. A strong vision serves as a guideline to keep them motivated and on track to achieving their goals. This vision changes the way you use and spend your time, your energy, and your money, and how you think and who you interact with, and ultimately, how you live your life. So you have to ask yourself the question, what is the vision I have for my life? Speaking of vision, once you have that nailed down, you need to devote yourself to the vision and do whatever it takes to achieve it. That means investing your time, your energy, and money to whatever it is that you set out as your vision. And sometimes that might mean sacrifice. If your dream is to become a travel photographer, your time, energy, and money must be invested into that dream. If your dream is to be a good parent or to be healthier or to learn a new skill or whatever it may be, the same principle applies, right? Now, personally for me, one of the things I struggled with was not treating travel photography as a business. I was so focused on being an artist that I neglected the business side of things, and as a result, it led to a few years of hardship. I had never really spent any time learning about business or sales or marketing, and that reflected in how I ran my business, which affected my finances, which ultimately affected my vision. And I'm experiencing the consequences of that to this day. I neglected the importance of focus, of consistency, and routine. So step one is being honest with yourself and realizing where you might need improvement. The reality is it does take time to learn that, so be patient and forgiving with yourself. Once you recognize where you need work, you need to make a plan to make change. So when it comes to my business, I realized that I needed a routine. As someone who has not really had a routine for 5 years, this was something new to me and unfamiliar. It was uncomfortable, but I knew that if I wanted to attain what I envisioned, I needed to treat my business like a business. It meant traveling less so I could focus more. It meant that while I am my own boss and I get to do whatever I want, and technically I could show up to work whenever I want, I could take a day off if I want to. Reality is, if I want more business and if I want more success, I have to show up to work every day just like a boss would and have a routine. There needs to be structure, framework, and I have to learn how a business operates. And all this I had to learn the hard way over a few years. So if I could go back in time, I would tell younger Elliott in 2018, boy, in order for you to succeed, you need to devote your entire time, energy, and money into your business and to make the necessary choices, sacrifices, and investments that's going to help you get to your vision. Oftentimes, comfortability is what stops a lot of people from pursuing their goals or vision. The risk of failure, uncertainty, or the sacrifice needed to achieve something sometimes feels uncomfortable to us, and it can be terrifying. And so we don't take action. We want to protect our egos, so we don't do anything that could potentially hurt us, which is often what actually needs to be done so that we can grow. Now, growing up, my dad would always say, no pain, no gain. And looking back at my life, he's pretty right. And maybe it's the same for you, but the times that I grew the most were the times when I was the most uncomfortable. They were times that felt painful, scary, lonely, and I had to be uncomfortably vulnerable. But if you stay in your comfort zone, that's exactly where you're going to stay for the rest of your life. If you have a dream, you're not going to get there by staying here. Staying in your comfort zone makes you complacent. Stepping outside of your comfort zone introduces opportunities to grow. Take vlogging, for example. There's a reason why I didn't do it for the longest time. Well, actually there are a few reasons, but that's another video for another day. Now, one of the reasons is that I actually don't like being in front of the camera. I like being behind it. However, I had to come to terms with the fact that if I want to be successful on YouTube, and if I want to be able to inspire others the way I want to, well, I need to be present here as well on YouTube. So I had to face that terrifying reality, and after years of neglecting and pushing it off, here I finally am. So this is actually all very uncomfortable for me, but I know that I need to do this in order to achieve what I want, and for me to grow in both my business and my personal life. You have to step outside of your comfort zone. Done is better than perfect. Shirley Sandberg. You have no clue who that is, but it's true. It's much better to get it done than to never do it at all. If I had to start all over again as a trial photographer, the number one thing I'd do differently is I would learn how to handle perfectionism, because the number of times I didn't do something because of perfectionism is way too dang high. For example, on Instagram, I would sometimes not post for weeks, sometimes months, because I didn't have anything perfect enough to post. Or I wouldn't post a vlog because my hair wasn't perfect or the quality of the video wasn't perfect. I actually have maybe 50 to 100 vlogs I never posted because of that. You get the point. Now, my good friends, Taylor and Annika, who run a multi-million-dollar company, bestowed upon me an analogy that I really like. So imagine you're playing football. Perfectionism is spending your entire time on the field trying to perfect this one kick. You're thinking, how should I kick it? At what angle? How much power? Where do I aim it? So you spend hours just thinking about it, and you finally go and take that kick, but the goalkeeper scores regardless. Or not scores, saves it regardless. You can tell I don't know a single thing about football here. Now imagine instead of trying to perfect this one attempt, you spend your entire time kicking 1,000 balls. And every time you kick a ball, you improve. Well, you're bound to score more goals, right? Well, just like football, you're bound to achieve more success the more you try, and reality is also fail. Now, as an artist, we're trained to produce the best work. To a degree, that is very important, but you can only really produce your best work by actually producing it. So if perfectionism is slowing you down from attaining whatever it is that you set out as your vision, you have to let that thing go. And that's why having a vision is so important, because if your desire for your vision is higher than your desire for perfectionism or whatever it is that you're struggling with, it'll be a lot easier to let that go, because you will be reminded that letting that go will get you closer to what you really desire, your vision. So don't wait until it's perfect to do it, just do it. Shia LaBeouf. If you're like me, you follow people that inspire you, people that you may want to be like, and you're looking at your own life and you may feel disappointed or unsatisfied with where you are. You start to compare yourself to them. They say that comparison is the thief of joy, and I 100% agree with that. It's so easy to look at those that are succeeding in certain areas in life and be envious. I've been there myself. Now, looking back, comparing my journey to someone else's has been one of the biggest things that I've struggled with, and it took me many years to overcome it. I can't stress how important it is to be content with the journey that you're on. It's very true that everyone is on their own journey, going at their own pace. And if you're going slower than others, that's totally fine. If you're going faster than others, that's also fine. It's not a race. In fact, if life itself is a race, finishing first means you die first. That's not a win, that's a loss. And if you compare yourself with others, you will never be content. That I can promise you. As well, keep in mind that what you're really seeing is a highlight reel, right? You can't compare someone's highlight reel against your behind the scenes. You've probably heard of the quote before, the grass is greener on the other side. What that basically is saying is that we're so quick to see the negative in our own yard, so someone else's ends up looking better. So the first step is to realize the positive in your life, or in other words, realize that there are so many things to be grateful for in your own journey. The second step is to realize that the grass isn't greener because it's on the other side. It's greener because someone's watering it. So when you're spending all that time looking at someone else's yard and being envious of their green grass, you're kind of wasting time and letting yours turn brown by not watering it yourself. So the lesson here is to focus on your own yard or your life and watering your own grass so it can become green. That means being grateful for what you have and working on improving your own life. And that does take time. Now, it's important to clarify that being content with where you are doesn't mean not being ambitious. Being satisfied with what you have is not an excuse to neglect your vision. It's a very delicate balance, I find, between appreciating where you are in life and what you have and pursuing your vision. When it comes to comparison, what I've kind of learned is to change the way I perceive it and handle it. So instead of coming at it with envy, I approach it now with the desire to learn. So instead of, dang, this person's better than me at this and that, and I'm not good enough, or I wish I could do that, but I can't. Instead, I ask, I wonder how this person is able to achieve that, and what can I do to achieve that as well? So in a sense, it's still comparison, but it doesn't come from a place of low self-esteem anymore. Instead, it becomes motivational fuel to learn. It's no longer jealousy that my neighbor's grass is green. Hey, my grass is green too. But I want to learn more and potentially apply that knowledge to my life as well. Lesson number 6 is the importance of saying no. As a recovering people pleaser, saying no is one of the hardest things I had to learn and am still learning sometimes, to be honest. Whether that be saying no to certain people or opportunities or habits, it's not fun to say that 2-letter word. But saying no to things has drastically changed my life for the better, because saying no to a few things meant I had the ability and energy and time to say yes to the things that truly matter. I'm going to keep this one a bit short, but understanding the value of time has led me to say no more often to things that don't serve my vision or purpose. Now again, for this to happen, you need to know your priorities, which stems from having that clear vision that we talked about earlier. And once you have that in place, learn to say no to the things that don't contribute to that vision. I'll wrap it all up with a quote by James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. It's a great book and you can get it in the link in the description box below, but the quote goes, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as those votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity." So saying no to something may actually be a yes vote for who you want to become and the life that you want. Alright friend, thank you so much for watching this vlog, and while I know it's nothing as adventurous as my other vlogs, these 6 lessons are just a few of the many that I've learned along the way that has allowed me to go on these crazy adventures. I hope that you've been able to take something home and learn something new, and that I've been able to motivate you and inspire you. I also have no clue how long this was. I'll see it editing, but I definitely went over that 6-minute limit, didn't I? But anyway, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified when the next vlog drops. As always, my name is Elliott. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.